Hey, hello, it's me, your boy Naffy Napkin. It's 5 p.m. on a holiday, and I find myself in a very common situation where I have nothing to do, so I'm gonna watch an entire anime. Uh, just, just go through it. I'm gonna veg out, as as they say. You just heard the laundry complete. There might be more of that. I heard a bark outside. There that is. I don't care about the video quality or production on this one. You also just saw the start. My Lawrence finally finished. I got Ojumajo, Doremi, and Hensami right there. I hope anyone fucking knows what any of those animes were. Anyways, to give myself a retrospect, an evaluation of the entire recording my thoughts thing, because I really meant to at the end of Anime in a Day Kaguya-sama, but I just didn't for some reason. And instead I just talked about my opinions on the anime itself. Uh, in the end, I do prefer just writing it out. And even though as I said at the beginning of that one, I still don't like writing in general. But it is definitely better than me speaking it out, because in writing, what's recorded is after you think it. You slowly type it out and you can delete what you said. But in while talking, it's not the same thing. You have to instantly speak what's out, and you can't really erase what you said. Uh, yeah, I'm still gonna do it though, because I want to watch animes in a day. There's so much goddamn anime, you guys. Ah, there's maybe I really am forcing myself to watch them. Uh, but I'm not, because I need to watch everything. It's an obligation. It's a human right. Human. Shoot, I forgot my civil education. Well, it doesn't matter. Look, I'm gonna be watching an isekai anime, quintessential to Japanese culture, as in Japanimation. Last time, romcom manga adaptation. This is an isekai light novel. We're really watching everything that anime has to offer right here. The next thing would be, I don't know, shonen or something. I'm not. I'm gonna be watching Bakuno probably. It's fine. Let's just get into it. Overlord. We're watching Overlord. Um, as a precursor, I don't know, pre-warning, whatever. I'm gonna be watching the movie, not the actual anime itself. Really, my reasons for this is that I want to have a slightly different experience, and I don't know. I saw on my anime list. I was gonna say My Little Pony. I saw reviews of the movie. They said it's not that much different from from the anime season. And I was like, why not? I'll just watch them. The other thing is because the show itself, I mean, I find myself kind of hard to go from episode to episode, because there's breaks between every 12th of the narrative, because there's 12 episodes. And I'm just like, I don't want to continue to the next episode 100% of the time. So I figured in a movie, I'd force myself to sit down, get into it for the next 2 hours or so. And, just have a continuous experience. So let's get that opened up right now. Oh, right. When it comes to copyright law, in the description I wrote, I hope they don't notice it. And I really didn't expect them to catch on to just me, recording the screen. I didn't know their technology was so advanced to catch me doing that. And I was still showing what the anime was. So this time around, I'm gonna be a bit more careful. Uh, what's even worse is that, I mean, I know Kaguya-sama is already a popular anime, made by A1 Pictures, but this time it's licensed by Funimation, which is already, popular, made by Madhouse. I know a few things about it. Where the fuck is my goddamn Overlord? I need it. I need it right now. Put the anime in my veins. Put a counter in the corner of how many times I said anime. Alright. No copyright this time. You can't get me. I'm gonna watch a bit into it, and then I'm gonna put my thoughts on it. See ya. Also, thank you. These are the tyrants trying to stop me from making my great content. Okay, I'm really hoping a zoomed in half part of the screen doesn't get noticed by copyright. I honestly can't tell, make anything out of that. Anyways, 5 minutes in, I figured that's a pretty good place to just have my thoughts out on everything, and I do have a few. So the main character, he's like in the year 2126, a game is about to, an DMMORPG thing is about to have its last hours, is about to get its servers shut down on its last day. And what's happening is that this dude, he used to spend all his time and all of his friends, they were like the top players in that server. He meets one of his friends online, he leaves, and he's basically just resenting the world because everyone chose real life over this MMORPG. It's already pretty interesting, and I kind of want to know how he got up to that point. I suppose I'm not terribly interested. The main character himself is already just, oh hey, I'm an otaku. I bet he's gonna be a bit more. I bet he's gonna be more interesting. He seems like a nice dude. I guess I don't fucking know. They already show the main girl, Albedo. I know her. Don't ask me how. Uh, Definitely not from suspicious websites like Pixiv or Danboru, but the origins for her, I didn't really expect. I thought it would be a bit more morally not reprehensible because she's just the highest ranking NPC and you can easily just change her settings. And at first her settings from some other dude in the guild, and his kink was to have her figure or body shape completely contradict with what her personality was, which is, and I quote, a B word, whatever, just that word. The main dude rewrites it so she is in love with him, and I'm 100% sure he will accidentally save those settings, and it will just become incredibly relevant in whatever's gonna happen next. So yeah, that's it for now. I suppose I don't hate it. I like the premise. It's a bit more interesting than just, oh, I'm an otaku dude. I'm gonna get sucked into an alternate world where all of my skills happen to be useful in this one. Uh, he's already like incredibly powerful, and I'm interested in how he even got there, I guess. I don't know why, I just am. Like, looking at ruins is fun as well, I suppose. The ruins of an abandoned, dilapidated building, just so you know the history of how it became like that. Enough analysis, I'm gonna watch it. Okay, so right now, the appeal of this anime, or the point, for now at least, halfway through the first episode, is that he gets weirdly teleported into the actual game itself, and he's living out his fantasy of meeting all of these NPCs and having conversations with them, and groping Albedo, because why not? But that points into my other thing, which is that he's trying to figure out his limitations and figure out what the world is. So, at least instead of him being not being dim and just like, oh my god, I'm in the anime world that I wanted to be in for so long, hell yeah. Instead, he's first trying to be incredibly cautious, which is relatable, and it's interesting to know what the limitations of the world are as well here, the world that he's transported into. I mean, even so, I suppose it's already very obvious to the audience and the viewer he's in an isekai, but for him, he's just weirdly transported, you know? Uh, I suppose that's it. He's just being very slow with it for now, which is fine. Alright, I'll see into the actual first episode to see if much progresses. To re-say what I said earlier, yeah, he's basically living his fantasies and seeing all his NPCs be cute and stuff. On top of also figuring out the world around him, he also has to be secretive about everything so that, I don't know, maybe they might figure out his real identity and that would cause problems down the line. Yeah, we'll see what happens. That's an interesting point, I suppose. I suppose the appeal is that it's meant to be an engaging mystery of what's happening right now. I mean, I was thinking, how is the progression of this dude, since he's like the already incredibly powerful, like the most powerful person on the MMORPG, how is he supposed to progress, you know? Uh, but I suppose it's this mystery first to make everything more interesting. Alright. I hope you can see like quite a bit of what is reflected from my screen to my keyboard and mouse pad, whatever is touch tab. What? Touch tab? It doesn't matter. Look, I think I know now. There's a scene where it, instead of being inside the master's, the overlord's head, instead it goes to this scene of all the guardians conversing with each other, and now I think it's gonna be a isekai harem comedy where all these guardians serve their master, and the 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 one with white hair, the goth one, has fucking, I don't know what this anime is about. They just have fun together. I think. What the fudge was I gonna say? Yeah, it's a harem. It's a fun one. Maybe I expected a bit more of a serious story, but we'll see. It just became a harem comedy, is what I'm saying. Luckily, some of them are guy dudes. I like the duo, the yellow haired ones that are on the sixth floor, I think. Those are cool. Mostly the guy, surprisingly. I don't know. The edgy emo one kind of does a bit too hard for me. Albedo's great, I suppose. I was obligated to think that. I'm currently just watching it while conversing my opinions. We'll see. Maybe Albedo will warm up to me. Woo! Oh my god, of course one of them is a trap. How did I not see this? He acted way too girly, and I thought it was kind of annoying, but now, just because they said she was actually a he, this is adorable. Damn it. Okay, so I think the thing I was trying to say before was that it's just an awkward dude who now has the responsibilities and obligations of this super powerful mage that he made in his MMORPG world. And part of the appeal is just his awkward reactions to things in his inner self. And also just the cute interactions between his harem of guardians. For now, though, they're trying to figure out. I mean, he is trying to figure out the mystery of what's going on how he got into the situation. Alright, that should be a pretty good overview of what this anime is right now. At around the end of episode 1, I'm like, fifth through the movie? Okay, we'll see. Oh no, he's questioning himself whether he should go back to the old world where all he did was just eat, sleep, and jack off. Now he's thinking he should be in this isekai forever. This is the trap we all fall into. Why is it so persuasive? No! At least Cosmo didn't have to deal with this. He's, okay, so it, like, dipped to black and then went to another disparate shot of just these horses galloping with armored soldiers behind their backs, and it looks a lot like Attack on Titan with that brown art style there. So I assume this is the second episode. At the end of the first episode, he hints at like taking over the world, and I have a feeling there'll be a misunderstanding with everyone in the Guardians saying, shit, now we know what he wants to do and you're gonna take over the world. That'll be cool. I don't have many thoughts other than the thing that I just said about what the anime was. And that concept itself, I suppose, is kind of interesting with the mystery going on. We'll obviously see more of what this world is and what his powers were. Speaking of which, though, his powers just kind of come up out of nowhere. What I feel about that is that I suppose, I mean, they don't really have to explain absolutely everything about what he does and what he can, but I get the feeling that it could be used to, like, I'm gonna pull some magic out of my ass just so the situation could be dissolved just because I'm the most powerful being and I have everything, every magic ever. But I suppose the anime is not really about having conflicts that the main character has to go through. For now, they don't have a goal yet, but it could be implied that they're going to take over the world, as I said before. I'm just going through episode 2 right now. I'm gonna watch more of it. Okay, so that group of soldiers, what they were talking about, I think a group of people are trying to eliminate a bunch of villages around them. And these soldiers are trying to figure out who they are because that was the king's orders. But now they're thinking that maybe nobles who are close to the king did this. And they're questioning whether they should, I don't know, go back and become more powerful if they're together or do this small thing. And they decided to protect a bunch of villages. My point is, I'm pretty sure the disparate power level between these two beings of the Overlord King, who's the mage of everything, and these little soldiers who are probably just NPCs and don't do much, they're gonna intersect and he's gonna make their lives better. Currently I'm watching the scene where he's looking through a mirror and he's looking at their situation, basically. I assume this is where it's gonna go. They're gonna be looking at these small situations and just help the isekai world in general from injustice. And maybe there's a giant conspiracy going on with the king. Alright. I like these big, stupid kanji signs that still appear behind his character in the game. That sure is ludonarrative dissonance. Not Oh, whatever. Look, I just like how his past friends, we get to see more of his past and how he meets with his friends and his relations with them, and how their actions have affected him. Since I suppose in this situation, he said, leave the villagers to die to this uh, cult of knights or something, but now when his friend that would do something good for him, he's going to do something good for his village. It was weird for him to say leave them, but I suppose his friend helped him. I don't fucking know. All right, maybe there is some this there is some difference between his old self and the Overlord now, since normally he would faint if he watched blood come out of someone, but now as the Overlord he's fine. So maybe his thought patterns are what transferred into this person, but his innate characteristics are of the Overlord. Especially since the way he speaks is definitely very different from how, you know, a corny looking otaku would. So yeah. It's just a band of otakus together. That's relatable. That's cool. Really good to see more of my own kind and hanging out with them in this anime. They seem nice, especially this dude with a really hard sense of justice. I don't know, I'm rambling. Next scene. Oh my god, this girl is adorable. She looks a lot like Chihiro Fujisaki. I am right to watch anime and spend the rest of my life doing it. They're so cute. Damn it. Anyways, they just kind of stranded these pair of sisters in like a force field, and now they have whistles that call an army of goblins. And yeah, no, they kind of stranded them in a green circle bubble though, and they can't really move it, so they're just stuck there. That's all I wanted to say. He's actually evil, and I can't believe them. We need as many photo ops of this girl as possible. What's her name? I forgot. Big sister character. Thank you. By the way, I am absolutely willing to get copyright infringed just for this girl. Oh my gosh. Alright, enough perverted stuff. I've moved on from the phase in my life where I called myself the ecchi connoisseur. Alright, I am just an appreciator of good, cute anime designs. I keep pointing the camera just whenever she shows up. I need it all recorded. This is history right here. It's basically currently twilight night, and if you can't tell, I turned on my yellow light. And I'm just gonna say that, it's cool that the anime transplants its focus into the minds of the victim here, which is the knights, and they're all dying from the Death Knight that the dude summoned, the Overlord, Ainz Ul Goal or whatever. It makes it a lot more tense because now we know what's like how far the anime is willing to be so gory, I suppose. Not that that's necessarily a good thing, but real people died here, just to remind you. This guy just got decapitated, bro. This has officially become the show where I just point at a background character and tell you how cute they are. That's it. Okay, that's weird. He went to a village, asked some old people as much as they could about the world, and I expected him to be in the MMORPG long enough to know everything about the world already? I suppose at the end of the first episode, all of Nazarick turned into a great green field, so it's all different. uh, I guess I'll just figure out more information after this. Did I use this camera angle before? I don't know. Anyways, halfway through the movie, probably 2 episodes in, currently at the part where he already saved the village and meets the dude from the start of the episode, assumedly, and he's like, "Thank you for saving the village and everything, I beg of you." And the guy was just like, "As long as you know my name, I'm gonna be protecting all these villages." It's really what's going on right now. He's just doing good things. He's a good doer and wants his name recognized, because I don't really remember actually. From the first episode, he just said it would be nice or something to be well known. I think that's what that was about. Alright. Now they're being surrounded by a bunch of magic casters from the Slain tendency, whatever it was called, thaumaturgy. They're gonna attack them. We're gonna see some great madhouse animation right now. Thank you, One Punch Man. I didn't like that one that much, actually. I don't. This is not gonna become that. I'm gonna keep watching. I got some macaroons, some brownies, and some powdered sugar donuts, and some milk. And I don't know why I'm telling you this. Okay, while I'm watching this fight scene, I just realized Eins Ual Ghoul is an awful name to be spreading around. They should have used something simple and marketable, like Steve. Or something. What else? Oh, right. It does kind of suck that I'm watching the movie, because I realized I'm not going to be able to watch the opening, actually. And, I've listened to it, and most of those guess the anime opening videos. I don't hate it, I suppose. It's a bit too edgy for my tastes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just watching this fight scene. It says the all according to Keikaku thing. If only I knew what plan meant. Wow, they just have a lot of scenes that just don't have the protagonist in them. Like, this is the fight scene between the main dude and a bunch of these random guys who, in the long run, really don't matter, but it really tries to involve you into the actual world by focusing on these random characters, I suppose. The fact that it's not completely about, the genre itself, which is isekai, and having this one dude being followed through into the end, it's instead really just about the world itself, and this guy, this isekai dude, is one small part of it. That's the idea I'm getting. I like that. There's a lot of, thought to the world. God damn it, is this dude Dio? Is this guy Tokuyasu Ieyasu? I'm sorry for butchering up his name. So I was searching up whether Dio was that dude, and I found this girl. She's voiced by Mao Ichimichi. She's the Yellow Ranger in Gokaiger and in tons of other anime. Why did no one tell me this? It's all connected. Everyone I know and love is that. I'm dying here. Now they summoned the level 7 angel, and he's like, "I finally know what taking damage is like." Yeah. I know the whole conceit is a power fantasy, and this dude just is incredibly powerful. What's going on right now is that they're just fighting, They're just showing off all the powerful moves that they both have. And that's what a battle is, I suppose. I don't know why. I don't know what possessed me to just press the record button and have my thoughts out, because there's really nothing in my brain right now. I'm not bored. Just not much is happening narratively right now. I assume this is like the middle of the third episode or something. You know, as I say, we'll see. Now they're negotiating with something, I don't know. Okay, third, fourth episode. I'm an hour in, so I said. So I suppose fourth episode. Some cute albedo shenanigans. That's kind of what happened since he mercied on that Dio dude. Maybe I'm just having less thoughts than I do. And Kaguya-sama, because of either the genre change or that anime's better, or I don't know. Ugh, look at my cute macaron right there. 40 minutes left, so we'll see if I have anything more to say. Oh, he's spreading his name around so that his friends that may have come to this world will know it. But what I don't get is that his old name was Mamonga Sama, and now it changed to Owl Uwal Gown. So either it's code between his friends or I don't know what. Alright. They're working they're working as adventurers. They're bronze plates right now. And this dude threw a punk all the way over the table. And crashed onto a potion on Hot Girl Tits McGee over here. And now they're just meeting. I normally try to find like the point of a story, and that really only happens after everything is done. So, and I'm just in the middle of it. I'm just like recording what the conflict is right now, I suppose, until we get to the juicy, I don't know, third act of the episode, I suppose. I think, yeah, I suppose the last two sections were really the second and third episode of being in that one village, while this is the new fourth one. Interestingly, now we're just following this red-haired girl. That's pretty cool. We know he frequents Miss Ollivander's shop, I guess. It's that edgy-ass hair. Okay. They're reading. We're getting Subahibi vibes. No, not Subahibi. What the heck am I saying? The Konosuba vibes. They're going to Adventurers Guild, even though I know Adventure Guilds happen everywhere. I played Genshin Impact. I've totally done this before. Who is this edgelord who got a bob haircut, a straight cut, covering his eyes? What a loser. Gosh, bowl cuts look so dumb. Okay, I have literally no idea if the camera will actually see my face, but I want to go a bit more in depth about why Kaguya-sama made me think a lot more about it than this isekai anime Overlord did. I get the feeling one of the reasons why is because in Kaguya-sama, there's a lot of interactions between the characters and they use very smart strategies against both of them, and just a lot is happening, especially with the fact that it's a manga adaptation. A lot of separate stories are all happening sequentially after another, so it focuses on something different, and that allows me to talk about those different things. In Overlord, it's a light novel, so the story is continuous from start to end, except for, maybe having a few different chapters, but those are longer, so maybe not necessarily, a light novel doesn't have to have longer chapters than a manga would. But here definitely has a narrative that starts from a place and ends somewhere else, and then it just continues from there. Does that mean I can't talk about it as much? events can happen in the narrative, I suppose. Maybe in Kaguya-sama, it was just presented incredibly interestingly and had a lot of aesthetic value to it, while here it's just regular anime. Nothing wrong with that, but not as good as Kaguya in the way that it presents itself, and that does not allow me to talk about it that much more interestingly. However, the narrative itself, the story that it's presenting, not boring. You know, I like the characters. I don't know about the direction that it's going in, because the main goal is for the main character to just learn more about the world, and now they're in an adventurers guild. They think that'll help them gain a lot of information that way. And I also assume that a lot of low-level players in these MMORPGs would just be in an adventurers guild. So it makes a lot of sense. And now the narrative is just going along pretty swimmingly. I'll have to see how it ends before I can talk a lot more about it, though, instead of Kaguya-sama. Alright, rant out of the way. I'm gonna say right here and now, if I had to compare the Konosuba and Overlord gangs, since they were made by the same, I don't know, they were licensed by Funimation. Actually, I have no idea what their relationship is. I know that they are both an isekai quartet, but if I had to compare their characters and waifus, I do not like Albedo as much. And really, that's just because of her origins being forced to like Momoga-sama, because that's just what he wrote inside of her settings right before the whole isekai thing turned about. Yeah, that's it. I mean, in Konosuba, they just had a very natural relationship, and these different animes had a different idea on how presenting these, yeah, just chemistry between these characters form. In Konosuba, it's, you know, incredibly natural and I'd say realistic for all these people to just hate each other. In Overlord, it's obviously a bit less that they're his guardians and his servants, but you know, they're still cute and likable characters, but it's not in the way that Konosuba does it, and I prefer Konosuba's way. In ReZero, however, I might as well just talk about it. Uh, there are cute characters, but I think they're definitely the most realistic out of all of them. Like Konosuba, even though I said that was cool, it's realistic in the way that a group of friends would act in each other. In ReZero, it's realistic in the way a fantasy world would put them into that situation, you know? Anyways, enough of Albedo's face here. I've also already just reserved best girl, whoever the older sister character was that was voiced by Mao Ichimichi. And yes, pretty much solely for the reason she was voiced by her. Also just because she looks like a grown-up Chihiro Fujisaki. And she's adorable, thanks. Okay, and maybe the trap character. Just for that reason. But I also do like the guy. Because he's not cool, that guy. You know what, enough. I like the emo girl as well, just not as much. Well, I just listened to like a 2, 3, 4 minute conversation between Demiurge and Albedo about her making models and having sex with the overlords to make babies. I don't know what the point of that entire conversation was. It seems that the supreme beings have young boys dress up as girls. That's a thing that they said. You know, if I liked these characters a bit more, I would like this conversation, because I understand it's just fan service. Maybe in a light novel, while I was reading it, I'd think it's cute. But I guess her design is good as well to look at. Whatever. Enough anime for today. Help me. I got 3 episodes of Ojamajo Doremi that I have to watch. I'm like 45 episodes in. Why? Why this? Questioning all the life decisions that I've made up to this point right now. Except for the Ojamato Doremi related ones. Okay, so like in other animes, it's I don't really mind CGI in tokusatsu that much because it's supposed to look kind of realistic. In here, when it's contrasted between the luscious green grass and other character designs, it looks off when CG is made to be like that. In tokusatsu, it's supposed to mimic reality, and I don't know, for some reason I just don't think it's as bad. It could still look, not good or off. In anime, it looks a lot worse than in other media, in my opinion. So I was kind of wondering what the entire moral or point of this entire adventure thing is with Mr. Nefaria, the botanist dude who wanted to collect stuff, herbs, and wanted the other party to like protect him. I think the point was that in the end, the Overlord, Gon Momon, he saw the synergy between everyone of the party that helped him do all those things. He saw that they had good teamwork and knew the strengths and weaknesses of each member and reacted accordingly. On top of that, they're at a campfire right now and they're telling each other stories and stuff. And that basically just made him reminisce on his old party. That could be the point of it, but it was just a throwaway line, honestly. So I think just the entertainment value in itself, the animation from, well, the crappy CGI monsters and them attacking them, as well as their cool spells and, magical stuff. What was it? Standard package for an MMORPG. If you're into that, I really don't resonate with any of these because I don't play much of them. Maybe if I played Final Fantasy XIV as my big bro has, I would relate, but it's too long, god damn it. I played Genshin Impact. That's similar, I guess? Maybe? Alright. I should actually get onto RuneScape, that sounds cool. Man, imagine if Mushoku Tensei was an isekai quartet. Relating it to those animes, Mushoku Tensei did have a moral because in his past life he was a worthless, fat otaku NEET who kept being bullied, and that relates to his current situation whenever he's faced with, a situation in the isekai itself, and as well as, I forgot the purple-haired one. She was everywhere, the mage. She helped him overcome that, and here, it's not as emotional. Yeah, that's it. I also, right while I was talking about this, it's another one. I can't stop myself. It's too much. More analysis. I suppose the appeal now, as I said before, it is for MMORPG people. This is just kind of the story that would be interesting to be done with this kind of character as the protagonist, this awkward dude who's also incredibly capable and has a history and a past that it can dig up, as well as the mystery of everything that's going on in the world, even though it's not that prominent now. Really, just besides that, it's cute anime girls. I'm trying to dig into the point, The narrative that's going on right now, it's a big one that's unraveling. Like, for example, the slain theocracy that the Overlord dude, I forgot, Gon, Ainz Sama. Ainz destroyed the slain theocracy, and a girl from some black scripture cult thing stole a necklace from one of those dudes, and now she wants to use a talent holder's talent to make him use that magical item that she stole off of Slain Theocracy. So it's all interconnected, building on off itself, continuing on to the narrative. What is the main moral? What are the themes? I'll have to figure them out. It's possible there aren't really any. And I mean there are. There are some about friendship and teamwork that he used to have. And there's of course other appealing things to like about it. I I don't really want to answer the question why does this exist, but it is just entertaining in its own right. So whatever, I guess. Just zooming into this girl's smug ass face. So what I wanted to criticize about is just the way they transition or fix all of these episodes together into the movie. It just like weirdly fades into black and then goes into the next episode. It's not that bad, but maybe they just did it in the most generic way possible, you know? They just made it, just get all the video files of the MP4s of all the animes, put a black dissolve on it. I don't know if I wanted anything more from it, but I feel like they could have done a slightly better job than make it so obvious looking. What is up, Drama Nation? I'm your host, Killer Keemstar. Let's get right into the news. We're getting a hot, sick scoop on your girl, Henry, today. I'm just gonna give you what's happening to her right now. She's summoned some goblins. Turns out she's a friend of a pharmacist dude who happens to be Mr. Nefaria, and he knows that girl who bought a potion that was very expensive. So it's all connected, apparently. I suppose it has to be to make the narrative interesting, I suppose, because if it turns out your family member is an incredibly important figure and stuff, it's all relevant. I'll be honest though, he's boring as hell. I don't know why I should care about any of the characters in the party, or him in general. He just has a slightly, do I even want to say interesting design? He just has a shitty bowl haircut. Reminds me of someone I know in real life, and I don't like him. There you go, that's why I don't like him. I suppose some of the party members, the guy who looks like a girl and is great at magic, that one, and he has freckles. Well, I don't know, likable. There's that asshole who's an archer. The quiet, stoic druid. It's a generic one. I don't know. That's enough from me. Do any of maybe the question that I'm proposing is, do any of the people who watch this show actually think they're interesting? Please tell. Because some characters, like the one you're looking at now, has inherent qualities that make them goddamn adorable as hell, and I can't take my eyes off them. I don't even want to press the space button to continue the anime. This is just the cutest thing I've ever seen. Thank you, Maoichi Michi, for blessing this world and whoever designed these characters. Thank you a lot. Oh, those red eyes are staring into my soul. Okay, yeah, you just see this, Audie entered the scene, and then the movie ends with this really cringy kazoo music. Alright, enough of that. What are my thoughts on the first half? It's a very entertaining narrative and story, and I feel like it really resonates with people who have played MMORPGs. To see some sort of magical fantasy story being played out this way with that type of protagonist. Me personally, I don't really know. And my thoughts on the anime itself, first of all, they're biased. Second of all, not completely like analytical or anything. I mean, there are interesting characters that you follow, I suppose. They have things and qualities to them that I can see someone liking. Not me, really. Not me, really. They're just not interesting. Like, they're just party adventurer people that don't do anything. I don't really care. Well, at least in the second half, I know that there will be some conflict with that girl. She's cool. I hope Enri shows up more, just so I can show her face, just so I can look at it, just so I can hang it on my wall and frame it. That's all I need. That's all I need from this anime, alright? It's a simple desire. Why won't it give it to me? Surprisingly, we didn't really see Best Girl that everyone says is just albedo all that much, besides that one admittedly just fan servicey useless narrative to the narrative scene. I mean, maybe that is part of the appeal that you don't see her that much, but definitely most of it is that she's really simping for the main guy, like a real yandere sort of type. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the first movie. I'm gonna have to watch the second half, probably tomorrow. It stopped being anime in a day, I guess, because it's the first half I'm watching now, the first half watching. Doesn't matter, really. But as long as I watch it, but in between, before 24 hours from now, and I started watching at 6 or something, 4:30. 5 around there. Yeah. This is 50 minutes long and the movie's an hour and 42, so basically half of it. You watched this instead of watching the actual movie, and I condensed it into half of it, but I mean, I didn't really talk about the narrative that much, just its main thing. Alright. That's it. GG no re. See you tomorrow. Another day, another anime. I'm Ashy Napkin. It's day 2. I'm on the anime grind. Look at this garbage movie I'm watching right now. Thank you, Katakawa, who's just gonna copyright my video anyways. Oh, I feel diseased, as I usually do. Okay, so this girl just blurted out her entire plan to summon the undead, which they can't even control, and just send them everywhere to cause a bunch of chaos. I mean, that's dumb. Can you tell I'm feeling a bit less energetic, I suppose, than yesterday, or at night instead of morning? Oh my gosh, I feel limp. I'll continue watching this anime though, because I'm just stuck in bed. I want to be. Being sick is the best state of existence. Alright. I can't tell if this is supposed to be some trope where the evil villain monologues, and that's just what happens in MMORPGs, and they reveal their entire plan, but it's just not good. I don't know why they would ever do that. It just seems a bit too easy, Unless if it was a fake plan, then that would make sense. And I don't really understand why they're gonna summon an entire horde of zombies to spread everywhere. What do you gain from telling the people that are trying to stop you their plan, Oh, I'm gonna hopefully not pass out. Okay, so when this girl is mentioning her creators and why she's doing the things that she's doing, I think I've got I think let's just dive into what the mystery is in the first place. He got teleported into this other world, but all of the settings for the land of Nararuki or whatever it's called was still influenced by his past members. But this new isekai that surrounds the castle that he was in is completely new. So there's some connections between Yggdrasil, which is the name of the game that he was from. That was, I mean, most of it is just magic spells that they reuse. That's kind of the only connection between them, I suppose. And he's still trying to find if there are any other participants from the game that entered into reality. I just want to say, though, it is kind of weird that this guy does not care about like his real life, you know? It's like, shoot, I got trapped here. I need to get myself out into the real world again. Or shoot, I need to do laundry or whatever. Does he not have any jobs or obligations in real life? I mean, I guess he's a dirty neat otaku who doesn't have anything to do, so it's fair, but also he says that he doesn't have anything. He also does explicitly say, I don't have much to do, but it just, like, I doubt it, you know? The last time we saw him, he was inside a VR headset, and he must need to eat something. I don't know, maybe in the year 2100, the VR headset also feeds you. Uh, the connection between this isekai and reality is weird. At least in Sword Art Online, you could go back into real life after a while. They sort of thought about it. Maybe I didn't watch it. I'll be honest, I watched Overlord first. Alright. So, yeah, basically everyone turned into zombies. That's what happened. The entire party was slaughtered. We owe no time to care about their deaths at all. That's pretty fair, honestly. I, he is like an undead knight, the Overlord guy. Who cares? Also, one of them was a girl. I said that earlier, that I suspected that was the case, since they also said having a girl on your team is pretty uh, troublesome. Also, people are outside wanting to have me buy bread. That's the bread person. He's running around in the neighborhood IRL. Anyways, the other thing I wanted to say, besides just recapping up until this point, is the tone of the series really is pretty serious, I suppose, since it is mostly just him using his Ain's voice, not his regular voice, and it does come out eventually when he's talking about, oh, how do I deal with this RPG situation? Like, for example, he says to do a player kill, you also need to protect yourself and then attack hard and swift, all according to some guidebook that he read from some guy named Punito Moe. Great that someone's name is just that. But the other thing, I suppose, that I don't know, maybe the appeal now is that it's just a D&D adventure. That's fun. They're taking everything incredibly seriously, by the way. That's kind of wanna. There's not a lot of self awareness when it comes to it, and not necessarily that it needs to. It's just that it forgets that it's an isekai, I suppose, and that's not the main point of it. Instead, it's for everyone involved to just be in the troubles of the world that it's in, and not the actual guy. The protagonist isn't involved completely. He just solves all the problems, I suppose. Alright, I'm currently watching a bunch of shitty CGI skeletons climb a wall. Wonder where this is heading. Oh, huh, turns out the VA for the evil, yellow looking girl, she's, Yuki Aoi. She was Saga Tanya from Yojo Senki and even Mommy from Kanojo Okarishimasu. Also, what the heck? There's an ONA for Rent a Girlfriend? I did not know that. Alright, well, time to go into one of my patented mal anime rabbit holes and not actually watch whatever I'm supposed to be doing. 15 episodes and each is a minute long. Where the hell do you find these? Oh, it's on Twitter. Okay. But for some reason it's a real anime. Back to fucking Overlord. Yuki Aoi is a good actress. Voice actress. That's what I wanted to say. She was Frog Girl from you know what. And I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Mommy, but she was well acted. I mean, people wouldn't hate her so much if she didn't do such a good job of being so hateable. Um, I like her though. She's cool. Uh, I'm not gonna elaborate. See you on the. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna actually watch it. I know, insane. I'm gonna watch it. You know, sometimes I'm just thinking maybe she UKOE, you know, puts on such a good performance that the animation can't, or like the face expressions can't properly follow her. I think the, you know, her aesthetic in general with her sharp eyes and that face in general, it's trying to fit it, but her voice like genuinely cracks when doing all the super serious scenes. I think it's great. Good voice actress, 10 out of 10. Mao Ichimichi did not have a time to shine as her role, so, you know, I swear I'm not an idol guy. Fucking, I hate that D4DJ and Factory. I'm gonna stop. You know, Madhouse, I can't believe your animation got you resorted to it. You resorted to the worst possible thing, CG in anime. Why would you render a 3D object and everything that's 2D? You did it well in One Punch Man. I don't remember much, but that one was good. Why did this one need CG? Was this made a year later in 2016, and that was in 2015, I think? You regressed. You're playing the reruns. Not saying that it always has to look bad. I mean, the girl's running, you know, it's an action scene. I'm looking at it right now. I don't know. It feels off just having these 3D objects in this 2D space. Because you know it looks off. Because you can recognize it, then it just looks off. If it was all in 2D, then you'd have slick animation, you know, back in the 80s with that Sakuga. This is not what I would classify as good animation or, you know, high levels of effort being put into this millisecond time frame. You know, Sakuga, that's what it's called. Precure does that. It doesn't need CG. Well, sometimes it does, but not as often. I would think, you know, in Tropical Rouge, they didn't need that. God damn it. Alright, enough ranting. I don't really mind it that much. Like, it doesn't look awful, as I said. It just feels off. Oh, well, they killed I was wondering what her fate was. You know, she's somewhat likable? Question mark? You know, maybe they'd let her live because someone likes her and she was meant to be crazy. So, you know, that's a likable characteristic. But now she got slowly crushed to death. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. She just dies. Next one. Man, I just made myself a nice cup of Milo Dinosaur. Or I was gonna make Tehtarik. Obviously, all powders, but this one's hot chocolate, so that's cool. Just, I didn't know you could just put ice in there and milk and some sweet. I used brown sugar. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I just. This is what's happening right now. The edgy kid now became so fun. Uh, he's so emo right now. He's got eyes bleeding out of his face. It is interesting. I am a third of the way through this movie. Let me just finish it. Okay, I'm like halfway through right now, and it's in the intermediary section between two adventures, I assume. The last one was in the Cult of the Undead and defeating Clementine and their cult, whatever their deal was. I assume they just wanted to cause chaos for everyone and everything. The thing they gained out of it all was the wise king of the forest, the giant hamster, whatever. That was fun, I guess. Now, what they're doing is there was a scene with the vampire girl. I don't know what that was about. They learned something, I assume. I don't know if I'm getting all this right. I guess it'll be relevant later on. Maybe it's just a cute scene. After this, though, this one's pretty interesting. Ein, Sama, and Albedo, they meet up. Basically, they go to the treasury room and they see a mausoleum filled with a statue of all their friends. And that basically represents kind of represents their passing and how they don't exist in the world anymore. So he is planning to put a statue of himself there. And Albedo, this just NPC, is crying to him, please don't leave us, rule over us more. And you know what? I think that's a pretty good way to characterize it all. This is kind of the same way I thought of Ren, because she was just an object of the world that Subaru inhabited, and now she genuinely loves him for the way he is, even though he hates himself a lot. This was a cool scene in ReZero, and it's a cool scene here, except Ain's Sama, I'll just call him that. He's merciful, and he doesn't want to leave. So Albedo has no worries. They can have babies eventually, as she wants. Good to know. It's a real power fantasy here. At least Subaru didn't have that. And he's weak. And Konosuba as well. I think I just watched all the isekais where all of them were suffering instead of this one. I think Tanya, which is the other one in Isekai Quartet, is actually pretty strong. That's it. Oh, also Yuki, all voiced by Yuki Aoi, as I mentioned earlier, so maybe they're all related. Was she Darkness? I don't think so. Alright, enough. Back to the... Why the hell did I just get this? Shaltir revolted against them. They said that explicitly. Now that I remember, I'm just dumb and I don't listen to words. That explains why I was so harsh on Gandala earlier, way earlier, months, years ago. Alright. That's the story now. One of their guardians is rebelling, and they're using these extra powerful items called world items to defeat her. And he plans to fight alone instead of crush her with their numbers. He's explaining it right now. Why the hell am I having the camera on? I guess there's also a scene where he created a character that he thought was the coolest person possible. So he wears like a bland mask that you see in Rooftop Shooter, whatever that was called. The one with the hot dub dude. And he's wearing German clothes, says German things. and just acts incredibly eccentric. Really cringy, but at the time it was cool, I swear. I remember acting this way in D&D campaigns as well. So that's just really relatable. Now I think I know the wait. Okay. Yeah, now I think I know the, I don't know, variants of story that could happen, because I suppose that that's really the appeal of MMORPGs, that so many stories can happen in this fictional world. Like at first it was a rebellion with knights and stuff, and second it was a cult and party going and finding information in the Adventurers Guild, and that now it's one of his guardians going to revolt against him. There's a lot of possibilities here, and sometimes it's internal drama, sometimes it's to figure out the mystery of why he's here and what happened to all of his old friends. I get it. There's a goal in the end, and and all the possibilities of the stories that are happening are interesting, I guess. That's pretty much it for me. Can we just stop and appreciate this amazing line? Just like in games. This is something that he says in the Ain's voice. It's so profound and thought-provoking. Can't believe he says this out loud to everyone, because he's using it in the voice, so I've made a new rule. I'm gonna say this anytime anyone's gonna explain anything to me. What's 1 plus 2? 3? Just like in game. Okay, so what he's currently doing is that he's giving himself a ton of abilities, I suppose, before the actual match. And it's pretty interesting, since you can, for a guy who played D&D or something like that, as a few of these spells, I can assume what they do, like false data. That would give him false data about himself, so if the other person could read his stats, they'd just be wrong. And greater resistance, that's, obvious. There's a bunch more. I like how all of these slightly different effects that he puts on himself, you can see visually. That's pretty cool as well. And also a bunch of different sound effects. That's some aesthetic stuff for you. I hope all of these do have some thought put into them, and not just, here's a fun collection of magical names that he puts onto himself, I suppose. Oh, actually, speaking more about this, I know someone, I suppose. Delete that last line. I know someone who complained about tokusatsu and how they henshin for way too long, and why the other enemy just doesn't kill them while they're henshining. There's some explanations, like, I don't know, there's a basic level of respect to allow the other to henshin, and sometimes they have some invincibility thing to them that makes them invincible during henshining. And the other thing is that they do actually get hits and they just fight through it, like Yoryuger. That's pretty cool. Anyways, some weird magic shit is happening. See ya next time on... God, Fallen Down is the stupidest name for just a giant nuke that explodes everything. Just at the time I was questioning, hey, why was this girl fighting her old master? She questions it herself. So I'm assuming she's possessed or something. I didn't really understand what the beginning scene was. Like, she was evil and she killed people, but she looked crazier than usual. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with your inner vampire coming out of you or something. Okay, now they're just fighting. There's like a giant. There's a pretty long scene of just her talking to herself and strategizing. I assume MMORPG people like scenes like this where they explain absolutely everything, how the game works, as well as how the characters strategize their moves. And I like that as well. I watched Hokugo Sakura Club. I mentioned that last time as well. Those board games are all about what you're thinking to do to the next part, game theory. And also the animation of all these magical moves. They're pretty creative, I guess. Currently, Ainsam is getting beat with all these magical arrows. Fucking reality slash. What the heck is that? O's? What? Alright, so yeah, she figured out his weakness being an undead. It's lightness stuff. I guess it's a Pokemon in that way. That's really the only RPG I know that has direct weaknesses and strengths to each other. Now they have their guardians looking at this battle through their magic portal, and it's kind of like a tournament arc in that way, where they have just other characters explain what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what my thoughts are on this, positive or negative. I don't really have an opinion. Maybe patronizing or appealing to MMORPG fans was meant to be, but I could also just be wrong in the analyzing kind of thing. I'm watching it. My brain is gone now. So the fights in this isekai anime, they aren't really about, JoJo level smart strategy kind of fights. They're more just, we're showing off our giant magical moves here. And there's a lot of animation, and that's really what Madhouse prevails in. So that's fair, I guess. But, I preferred a Demon Slayer or a JoJo over magical move fights. I guess it looks cool. Could definitely look cooler if it was like animated by Trigger, I guess. It's that incredibly fluid animation. Here I wouldn't say it's the same. Looks a bit more generic in my opinion. What? I suppose it's more what the fight means. Like, he was talking something about, I'm fighting as a guild leader now because I'm doing it for self-satisfaction, and I was always doing business earlier, but now I'm on the front lines. And he really realized that about himself, and I'm gonna assume Shaltier has some sort of scene where she realizes what her true self is or something and represses her vampire instincts, but that's not generally what it is. We were shown that she became like that, became evil and revolted because of some being that came to her and put her in armor and gave her the orders to fight if she was attacked. I don't know. Okay, I rescind what I say about the whole RPG magic battle thing. They do use smart strategies because I was outside cleaning my plants, or watering plants. Anyway, she used the lance to summon a bunch of monsters, which then she used to kill the weak monsters, and she does that summoning and killing her own monsters because her lance can absorb their energy and make the lance more powerful or heal her or something. I suppose it's smart in the way that it uses RPG tactics that actual players would use. And it's smart in that way, but in general, I suppose it's more playing pure strengths of what you have. Like JoJo, they have stands, they fight and make their own environment so they can win in that environment. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's smart. It uses that sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes it's just magic. Goku Dragon Ball battles. Okay, all this talk of all the Guardians actually using RPG, terms like HP, MP, equipping weapons, class penalty, god tier magic. Either they just know that that's just a part of the fictional world they live in, or they are breaking the fourth wall. I think it's the former, and it is kind of weird that they would use these terms that are actually just shortenings of real life fantasy things, you know? We'd make these terms so it's easier to understand them in a game format. But of course in a real fictional world they wouldn't be using terms like, oh, my health points are this amount. It's just a way to numberize this variable that you have. But no, they just literally use those terms. Also, there's something about being smart. I don't remember. Alright, okay, so the other thing that I wanted to complain is that in that one time, Ainz won the last battle, kind of, by having a time magic combo thing. The skill of all life, the goal of all life is death. That's the dumb name it was called. And Cry of Banshee, that killed all of her household. That killed all of her summoned, creatures that would attack him, basically. And she would have won. He would have won, I guess, if she didn't have some resurrection item. So my problem is that there's something called Chekhov's shotgun, and that's basically just a shotgun that you use in Act 3 that would have needed to be introduced in Act 2. I'm sure you all know this, alright? Basic film theory. I just heard this from a Minion video by Ralph DeSeppi. And really, my problem is they didn't introduce it. They just didn't introduce it. It came out of nowhere. Same with all these magic stuff. Do they need to explain all of it? Honestly, no. I'm fine with all these just things flinging and throwing at each other, and in the end the magic spell used wasn't completely important, but she still would have died, apparently. I don't know. The battle continues on, I suppose. It's just an excuse for something interesting to happen at that moment. Maybe, I assume. That still makes sense in an RPG setting, and here, not as much in an anime? Oh, fuck, We'll see. Currently, I was wondering how he could change into armor, actually. Wait. Okay, I just slightly shifted the camera. I wanted it to be a static shot because I don't fucking know. He basically changed it into a different armor class for the Adventurers Guild story, and I was wondering how he could do that. Turns out is because he used magic to transform into another class. That just makes sense now. Alright. Because at first, he wasn't able to wield a sword because that just wasn't his class, and I was thinking, is it really that same? Is it really that static and you can't change it? No, you can just use magic to change it. Cool. Okay, I think I get it. It was a battle of MP endurance, and the way he was planning to win was use a bunch of world items that he used in these wooden sticks, I guess. That's what happens. He's using all those weapons to kill her. Nice. Okay, so yeah, it all worked out in the end. She got revived, and oh god, there's an after credit scene. Why were the credits so gosh damn short? So what happened was that some body once, some person gave her and used the world item on her, and that's basically the mystery to set out to the next season. we'll see whatever the hell happens there when that line crosses. Um, yeah, they got a bunch of information from that. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. Give me a sec. I need to watch this goddamn after credits scene. Okay, it was just people talking to each other. There was sort of a human-looking player, and I always thought in my head the person who gave that world item to her must have been another player, like Lord Penchochodrin, whatever his name was, the owner of the creator of Shaltir. That's my theory for now. Anyways, 2 movies finished. Hooray for me. So, what was Overlord? Let's answer that question. I think it was an isekai anime. I think that's what it was. He traveled to another world mysteriously, even though it's supposed to be the last day of the Yggdrasil service, supposed to be up, but now he's in this world mysteriously. And what was the appeal of it? Well, the intrigue of why he's there in the first place, what these rules of this new world are, and I think there's the whole part of the entire world surrounding them turning into a green field, Nazarick, and yeah, he's in this new world. He's trying to test out the limits of everything, and besides that, there's also just a bunch of RPG drama and stories that usually happen. They go to an adventurers guild. There's internal drama between his guardians, and there's also just cute anime girls there. All you could ever want. There's not really many flaws plot-wise, but then again, it could just be flying over my head because it's an RPG, you know? There's a lot of elements at play, very D&D-like. And for me, personally, I don't know, I'm not that into it. It's just not for me. I never liked the appeal or strategy or isekai worlds in general of being in a fantasy world. It's all too grungy, maybe. It's all too complicated. I don't really want something that complex to be involved in. You know, I don't like fighting monsters, goblins, kings, dragons, castles, fantasy, and magic. Okay. Magic a little bit. I like magical systems just a bit. And all the spells that they were doing looked very cool. So, the CG ain't too bad, I suppose. The fighting animation magic, whatever. It's okay. Madhouse made it, right? I'm actually kind of dizzy just walking around, so I'm gonna sit down. Verdict? Not really for me. Kaguya-sama, though, is a lot more, as I said, relatable for a lot more people. I'd say the reason why that one didn't have any flaws is because the humor was just on spot, you know? Here, its appeal was being very RPG-like, in my opinion. Maybe someone else got something else out of it. The narrative itself, it's not like it has any point. In Kaguya, it did had some moments, but most of the time it's just having fun with the characters. And here, it was the drama and mystery that's going on. And it did not do it for me. I said that before, so I'm done with that. Kaguya-sama, 9 out of 10. If it wanted to be more, or probably an 8 out of 10, if you wanted to be more, if you wanted to be more, I guess, if you wanted a lot of more things to say, I would be like, this is a piece of art that the creator wanted to give to us instead of just fun happenings with the characters. In Overlord, the narrative that I wanted to give was just very appealing to the people who already liked fantasy world and such. Not for me. Other isekais, they had other points to them, and ReZero was this giant thing between all these characters and trying to be happy with all the kingdoms at play, and Subaru was just kind of in the middle of it all, and his suffering was our enjoyment. It was the same in Konosuba. I keep saying Subahibi. Shit. Konosubahibi. That Kazuma's suffering was also kind of what that was about. but in a very fun way. In Overlord, he's just incredibly powerful and he solves all conflicts like that. I'd obviously know at the end of every story that it gives out. I mean, I know there was in the first season, there were 3 light novels, I assume, 3 chapters there that were used because 3 separate stories are happening one after another. That was my point. Shoot, something about narrative. And that's all that was. He's powerful. Alright, comparing it to the last 2, they were suffering. Sama is just incredibly powerful. And the appeal isn't the conflict that they go through and being incredibly weak and then coming up from that. It's the way that he solves all these conflicts and all these cute characters being together, I suppose. What else? That's it, really. I compared it to isekais, I compared it to Kaguya-sama. I'd say this one is a straight 6 to 7. I should probably get a better rating system, actually. And that was that. All in all, to evaluate my own talking of the anime itself, I think I still rambled. I don't know if I was making any sense there. I would say it's slightly better than Kaguya-sama, but not by much. I was still talking about stuff. Maybe it was a bit clear. Maybe I lost my point here and there. I think, though, aesthetically it is a lot less coherent than in Kaguya-sama because that was drenched in style and the way it presented it. In Overlord, definitely not as much. It just wanted to show an RPG narrative. And whether or not you're interested in that is you specifically. I'm not. I don't think I'll watch much more Overlord stuff. Kaguya-sama I'm willing to watch a second season of because it's just having fun with the characters. Personally, even Kaguya-sama didn't really appeal with me, but it's just fun being with them, and a lot of the art is cute. Same with Overlord, honestly. I think my main point is just I love cute character designs because I know I kept zooming in them. I know in Overlord I did not do that as much. Okay, maybe I did for Clementine and Erin's and Zir something. Thank you, Mao Ichimichi. Goodbye. Consume everything. Have a good one. I hope I don't have any afterthoughts after that, because normally whenever I stop the camera I have something to say, but I don't know. Next time, Bacano. Consume everything. Goodbye. Shoot, my phone got that shit.